Hi, this is Vicki with Crafting for Fun. Today I want to show you how I made this really fun card. It's a quick card to put together. It's easy to mass produce and would be great if you need to make a lot of cards for an occasion or if you want to give a card set as a gift. It uses one of my favorite stamp sets from Stampin' Up. It's called Simple Stems. The Simple Stems stamp set has several bold, chunky stamps that really are fun to work with. We're going to be using this flower image that's in the upper right hand corner, and we're going to be using the stem and leaves, which are in the lower left hand corner. In addition to that, we're going to be using a sentiment from the Perfect Pennant stamp set. It's this little hello, but you could easily substitute another sentiment from any stamp set that you prefer. And I just wanted to make note that there is a set of framelits for cutting out this pennant shape that coordinate with this set, but we're not going to be using it today. This sentiment is fairly small, really easy to cut out by hand, and so I'm going to omit using the framelits for today. So let me show you which paper supplies you'll need. I'm going to set the card aside. You'll need a card base. This color is called Baked Brown Sugar, and it is 4 1/4 by 11, and it's scored at 5 1/2. And I'm going to fold that to make a base card and just burnish my fold there. In addition to that, I have 2 pieces of vanilla cardstock that are 3 3/4 by 5 inches. One is for the front of the card, and then one fits inside of the card to create a layer. Since I have a fairly dark color card base, I want to have a light colored layer on the inside to write on. Then I have 2 pieces that go on the front. One is this pattern paper piece. It is 2 inches by 4 3/4. And a solid piece, this is Daffodil Delight cardstock, and it is 1 1/2 by 4 3/4. I have a piece of cardstock that I'm going to use to create a tag shape for the front, and it measures 2 inches by 4 inches. It's very vanilla. And then I have 2 additional pieces. One is just a scrap of vanilla cardstock that I'm going to use to stamp my sentiment on, and the other is a piece that I have cut. It's about 1 1/2 inches by 2 inches wide, and I just used a scalloped border punch along the edge. You could use any border punch that you have, or if you don't have a border punch and you just want to leave this element off, that would be fine too. So I'm going to set all my pieces aside and show you how I did this. Oh, one more thing I did want to mention. In addition to the stamp sets that we're using, we're also an important element that we're going to use on this card is this punch. This is called the Scalloped Tag Topper punch, and it's available from Stampin' Up. And that's where we're going to make the tag shape. If you don't have this tag punch, you can even cut a tag shape by hand, cut one with a die cutting machine, or you can even purchase pre-made tags at your craft store. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and apply adhesive to this vanilla layer and go ahead and put it on my card front. And you're just going to want to center that up, and so I'm just going to kind of eyeball that and kind of get it centered on my card front. There we go. And then you're going to take your pattern paper layer, and it's going to go along the left hand side of the card. So I want to center it from top to bottom, making sure that I have about the same amount of space at the top and the bottom, and about a 1/16 of an inch on the left hand side. And again, I'm just going to kind of eyeball that. Then to add a little extra detail to this card, I took my piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock and I embossed it using a chevron embossing folder. Now this is a folder by Doris, and it is called Chevron Background, but Stampin' Up also has a chevron background or a chevron folder. So I just inserted my piece inside of my folder and ran it through my Big Shot machine, and what I ended up with was a piece that looks like this. And I just think that the chevron, there's the embossed side. I just think that the chevron embossing it coordinates well with my paper and gives it a little extra texture and dimension. If you are using a paper that other than a chevron paper, you of course would want to choose an embossing folder that coordinates with whatever you're using. So there is the base for my card. My pieces are just side by side, and I made sure that I left about an even amount of space on both sides and in the middle. So I'm going to set this aside and begin my creating my punch, which is my focal image for my card. So I'm going to unlock my my punch. Now this punch is designed to work with pieces of cardstock that are about 2 inches wide. So this is 2 inches by 4 inches, and I'm just going to insert it all the way into the punch until it comes to rest at the back of the punch, and then I'm going to punch to create that tag shape. And there's my scrap, so I'm going to move that aside, and I'm finished with my punch, so I'm going to lock it and store it away. And now I'm ready to stamp. So I'm using baked brown sugar ink and Daffodil Delight ink. Let's set up my stamp pads there. And this chunky flower image from the Simple Stems stamp set is so easy to work with. It just comes out nice every time. So there's my flower. And I'm going to stamp my stem. And because I'm using a clear block, I can see exactly where my stem's going to go. And now I'm ready to move that aside. I'm just going to go ahead and create my sentiment on the scrap piece of paper here. There we go. And I'm finished with my stamp set, or with my ink pads. So I'm going to go ahead and put those away. And I am going to cut out my pennant shape. Now, I'm going to leave a little bit of the vanilla border around my stamped sentiment. But if you choose to cut all the way up to the stamped image, you'll just make sure that you do that all the way around. If you're going to leave a little border of vanilla showing, then you want to do that all the way around. Whichever way you do it, you just want to be consistent for the best appearance. So there we go. I'm finished with that. I'm going to turn that little sentiment over, put a dimensional on the back, and add it to my tag shape here. There we go. Now I'm going to take this scalloped piece that I created, and again this is an optional step, and I'm going to add that to the back of my punch, or to the back of my tag. There we go. And I'm going to turn that over and put dimensionals on the back so that I can add it to the front of my card. So I'm going to do one in each corner, and then one in the center. And there is one more element that I want to add to my tag shape, but I'll wait until I get it placed on my card to add that. I took a regular button, and I threaded some linen thread through it. Here we go. And I just tied it in a knot, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on using glue dots. So I have a glue dot here. I might want to add 2. There we go. And that just covers up that hole in the tag shape. And there we go. The outside of my card is complete. That was a quick and simple card. And now all I would need to do is go ahead and add my vanilla colored liner to my card. Now quite often when I'm constructing cards, I do cut a liner for my card and I put it inside of my card and I store it like this, but I don't adhere my liner. That means it makes it so that I can take my liner piece out, I can write my message on it, and then put it in place inside of my card. If I make a mistake or I want to start over, or I don't like what I've written, I can easily just cut another piece of vanilla to go inside without having to run the risk of messing up my card. So that's just a quick and easy tip. If you have any questions about this project or any of the other things you've seen on my blog, just email me at craftingforfun@gmail.com or check out my blog, craftingforfun.blogspot.com, for additional craft ideas. Hope to see you back here soon.